Once upon a very long time ago, i.e., 10 years ago, four authors got together and created what we called Christmas Lights. It was the first Christmas Lights collection, and we had no idea if we would ever do this again, but we did it because why wouldn't you, right? Yes, 10 years ago, we've had 10. Well, okay, we're working on number 10, and that's where this all comes in. But 10 years of Christmas collections. Now, the first one was a bit of a hodgepodge. We didn't know what we were doing. We had Vicky Kestel, who did historical. We had April Heyman, who did a mystery. And we had Cathe Swanson, who did her first romantic Christmas book, Snow Angels. And then I did Christmas stockings. Now, the fascinating thing, for me anyway, this was back in 2016, and this was July of 2016 when I started writing Christmas stockings. I think it was July. It could have been April, but I'm pretty sure it was Camp NaNoWriMo, July 2016. Now, Camp NaNoWriMo is different from the real original one that is no more, but it was the same basic idea in different times, but you could kind of set different goals. Well, my goal was to write my Christmas novella, and I did Christmas stockings. It kind of came about because some woman that I knew on Facebook, she made a comment about her 7 Christmas trees. And one of us joked, I don't remember which, about it being a 7-tree obsession, which I wrote down as an idea for a book. Some lady, for some reason, has 7 Christmas trees. Couldn't figure out why. At the time, I just knew that I wanted to write about this. Well, when we started doing this, I was like, okay, here comes the 7-tree obsession, which is what I originally called Christmas stockings. And then I found out why she had 7 trees. She has one for each of her cats, who are all named after Santa's reindeer. This woman is your just ultimate cat lady. And then things start going wonky in her house, and all was well. Well, the pertinent information on this for Christmas stockings, here I'm just kind of showing the original cover, plus then I've updated it. That's really the whole point there. Anyway. Yeah, so I wrote Christmas stockings in 10 days. Yeah, you heard that right. 10 days. It was 45,000 words, so that's about 4,500 words a day. That's not unheard of for me. That's actually used to be totally common. Less common these days, but used to be totally common for me. And so it wasn't like it was crazy that it was done, but because up until that point I had only written full-length novels, this was really hard to write a mystery in only 45,000 words, but I did it, and I only had to rewrite one scene. It was the exact same scene, but I needed it to be from a different perspective. I just didn't know that. I got it done. I knew there was something wrong with the scene. I knew it did what I wanted it to do as far as the plot, but not as far as the reader. And I shared it with April from the collection, her and my friend Clark. And I said, what's wrong with this? And I told him why I was having problems with it. And he came back and he said, it's the point of view. The point of view character is the bad guy, which I wanted it to be. Until he said, but we're sympathizing with him. We feel bad for him in a funny scene that is actually kind of making fun of him too, and it's not working. And as soon as he said it, I knew he was totally right. And so I had to rewrite that scene, just changing perspective, and so it wasn't a massive amount of rewriting or anything, but I had that book done lickety split. And I've always loved that. Yeah, I wrote that book in 10 days. That's pretty cool. Fun stuff. Yeah. But moving along, 10 years later, I really need to do this again. And I have no doubt that I can, except there's a tiny little problem. My window, it gets smaller and smaller all the time. See, in the end of August, number 1 daughter is coming from Indiana with her kids, and they're going to be here for a little over 3 weeks. Yeah. So most of August and September are pretty much not going to be good writing times for me, especially since She's coming because a number 5 daughter is getting married, and we've got all the wedding things. I've got to like hem my daughter's wedding dress without ruining it. I'm totally confident in my sewing skills until it comes to a wedding dress. And suddenly I'm just like, no. But yeah, not a big deal. Sure, this is gonna be okay. This is gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Um, but yeah, so I'm not gonna have much time near the end of August, middle to the end of August, all the way through most of September. Well, the book comes out on October 7th. The collection comes out this year. It's Lovelight Gleams, as you saw. So I was like, when am I going to have time to do this? Well, the best time is really August 1st through the 10th. Then we're done. Get it over. All is well. But there's a problem because this is Cheltenham and there is always a problem. Yeah. So this is Sunday night actually Monday morning at dark 30. It's like 2:30 in the morning or something like that. And guess what? I leave in about 14 hours to head to the airport. I'm flying to Charlotte, North Carolina. Then I'm going to drive up to East Tennessee. I'm going to spend a few days with Krista Del Sorbo, the fabulous narrator that everyone knows and loves. And then we're going to research a book for the Bookstring series, Milton in East Tennessee at a Christian bookstore. Going to be awesome. Going to have fun time. We're going to pick out a building so that Josh can give me a cover and all the things. Guys, Wee Bonnie Books is going to happen, but Krista and I are seriously considering going back to Scotland to do more research before I do it. Tell me what you think. Should I do that? Should I go to Scotland and get more? Because remember, when I was there, I was in the cottage the whole time. I mean, I went on one little car ride, but I didn't get to actually explore because I couldn't walk. I had a bum knee on one leg and an ankle on the other. I could not walk. So we're thinking about doing that. What are your thoughts? Should I do it? Let me know. But meanwhile, I can be doing crosswords so we can still have another book strings pretty quickly. This is my plan. So and we're going to base it on a real bookstore. Got lots of stuff to tell you about that. I need to stop talking. Anyway, so after that though, I think on the 2nd, I'm going to drive. Notice on the 2nd, I'm going to drive all the way to Indiana. So it's like a 7+ hour road trip. And I'm going to spend a few days at Shalice's house. I'm going to get there for my granddaughter's birthday. We're going to have a great time. I'm going to get to meet Ashley. Woohoo! Lots of fun stuff. I'm hoping I might get to see my friend Vicky. That would be super cool. So all the things, right? All the things. Do you hear the problem? Remember I said something about 1st through 10th? Yeah, I get home on the 8th, late in the evening, okay, not late, but I get home in the evening around 5 or 6 on the 8th. Or is it 7? It might be 7 o'clock on the 8th. My husband's going to pick me up at the airport and we're going to go to a hotel. I'm going to crash because I'm sure I'm going to be dead. And then we're going to get up at dark 30. Okay, not really, but we'll get to my daughter's house in Irvine by about 10 to noon. All right, this is the plan. So I can see grandbabies because I have not seen my little granddaughter that I went down to see since she was born. That has been 5 months. The child is 5 months old. She'll be crawling in a couple of months. I need to see the kid. Okay, so there's that. Well, how am I going to do this if I'm going to be at Krista's house and doing all this stuff there and then going to Indiana? I'm going to be in the car all those hours. And then guess what? I have to leave Shalice's house on the 7th, drive back to Krista's house, get a snooze, and then zoom down to Charlotte again on the 8th so that I can catch that flight that's going to get me back to California. That's the 8th. I will not get home until late on the 9th. Do you hear the problem? I'm sure you hear the problem, right? So what am I going to do? Well, I still think I want to try it because sure, I could do between the 10th and the 20th. I really could, but I don't want to. So as you see here, and you can't see what I'm writing, but I made that list of the scenes for the book, and this is my plan. At Krista's house on the 1st, we will do a kind of a dueling wordsmithing, if you will. She will go narrate in her little cubicle. I'll even take a video. We'll do some silly stuff just for you guys because we love you guys. And then while she goes and reads the words, I will write as many words as I can. We will have a word battle. She's going to win because she only has to talk them. She doesn't have to come up with them. But it'll be great. Hopefully I'll have tons of tongue twisters in there, or even better, it'll be that other gal and she'll have even more tongue twisters. It'll be great stuff. So we'll battle and see who has more words. It'll be her, but maybe, just maybe, it'll be an interesting combination, like she'll read, 3,500 words or 5,300 words, and I'll write 3,500. It's something fun like that could happen. It could totally happen. But then when I leave her on the 2nd, I'll be in the car all those hours going across. I leave East Tennessee. I go into Kentucky. I go through Ohio, and then I go into Indiana. Okay. 4 states of dictation time. So the time I went to Vegas to pick up my daughter at the airport, I spent like in 3.5 hours, I wrote about 20,000 words just through dictation. Now, yes, it needs to be cleaned up. I get that. But still, if I get the words, I get the words. It counts, and I can deal with the rest in the 10th through the 20th instead of having to write them originally during those times. So this could be a good thing. But there is one problem. When I am talking, and I'm sure you notice when I talk to you guys, if I'm just chattering about things, I can lose the thread of where I'm going with something, or I can forget that I need to do this or that. And so I was like, I need a little bit more direction than I'm going to get if I do this as a thing, right? And so I thought about it, and I remembered this is what I'm doing right here. I'm writing all those things. I'm writing them on sticky notes because way back in the day, before I had a cell phone, and still wish I didn't. Anywho, and back in the days of MapQuest, remember MapQuest? Anytime I was going somewhere, I would go on MapQuest. I would find all the directions, and I would start at the bottom, and I would write each one on a sticky note, and I would pile each one on top of the last one. So I started with the directions to where I was going on a sticky note, and I stuck that whole stack onto the steering wheel right there in the middle where the horn is. And I would be driving along, and once I did one, I'd peel it off and toss it to the side, and I would be able to just glance at the next thing of what I need. Exit in big letters, exit 237, at XYZ town, turn right at the light or whatever. And I would do that. So this is what I'm doing here. I've got them semi in order. I had to rearrange a few things. I'm sure you've seen me type. I haven't been paying attention. My eyes are closed. But anywho, so what I'm going to do when I get in that car, I'm going to have these prompts for me, what scene I'm writing. And I haven't written all the scenes down that I'm going to do because this is just for that first leg. And some of this will have already been written on the day before, but that's still okay, right? So I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so silly. This is crazy. But so my idea is I'm going to slap that thing on the steering wheel, and I'm going to do what I did before, exactly the same, but this time it's going to be prompts. Write the scene about her getting the assignment, how much she doesn't want the assignment. And so I will dictate that scene, and then I can dictate the next scene, and the meeting at the Globe with all the people talking about this contest and what's their theme going to be and how are they going to pull this off and all that stuff. Someone pitching a fit about last year's funky Christmas trees. All those things have to happen. So I can do this across those states. And because I'll be switching and I'll have the note about what I'm going to write next, I think I can get a significant amount of this book written driving to there and driving back to Krista's and then down to Charlotte again. This is my story. This is my theory. This is what's going on. So what do you think? Can I do it? Should I do it? Am I crazy? I think I'm crazy, but I think I have to do it. I really don't think, because if I fail, oh well, I still have those next 10 days to write the book. But if I don't try to do this, I'm starting behind. I will at least be ahead. If the bare minimum, I'll have kind of an outline, a very flushed in, deep outline that I can just fill in places and stuff, right? So I have to do this. Okay, I have to. Yeah, we're going to do it. So this year's Christmas lights is different. Now, at first, remember that I told you about that first one? So that first one, we just wrote whatever we wanted to write. We bundled it together and all was well. The next year, we decided we needed to have a cohesive genre. So we went with basic contemporary Christmas romance. We just went for it. They can have other elements, but they have to have, it has to be contemporary. It has to have something to do with Christmas, and there must be a romance. You know, I've done quite a few different things, but eventually I wrote The Ghosts of New Cheltenham. But I wrote that one, and I think, I'm trying to remember, but I think the next year or the year after that, I'm pretty sure I had Snow Cross Letters in there, because there was the whole, that's the one that had a COVID actual story that made me write. It gave me the idea and it made me write the story. And so, but still, they're very random, even though they're contemporary. I mean, I have this ghost story Cathe's writing, the Hope Again series, you know, novellas. There was Snow Angels and Hope for the Holidays and something else. I can't remember. Sorry, Cathe, I love you. It's late. I'm tired. I didn't get a good nap today. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But then I started doing every year. I started, you know, I did the Bells of New Cheltenham, but that was for a different Christmas collection. And then I did the Stars of New Cheltenham for our Home for the Holidays. I think it had some sort of military theme to it. But that, I think that was our first year that we did a theme for the entire collection. And then we had a Destination Christmas and we had Marry Me at Christmas. And last year it was all about Christmas trees with an Evergreen Christmas. This year, we're taking it up a notch. For the 10th anniversary, we're writing, the Lovelight Gleams is all about a Christmas decorating contest. This contest has been around for 50 years, and in my world of Rockland, there is the Delta Advertising Agency, and my agency in that world has just bought this contest. And the whole point of the contest is that you have these companies who are trying to win this contest, and there's a $5,000 entry fee into the contest, and only 4 people are selected, and it is used as a way to you're trying to do this because you want to be selected, because you're going to win an advertising package that's going to put your business on the map. And so all of us have something to do with that. Cathe Swanson's book comes first. Hers is taking place in Golden Valley again. The last 2 have been there. They've been hilarious. If you haven't read them, you really should. But so Cathe's there. They've got that resort center that they've been trying to build there, and they want to win. Now, they weren't supposed to be in there. They weren't supposed to make it. But the company that had won the position pulled out, and so Cathe's town got to slide in. So they're working like on a deadline. They haven't had as much time to plan all the things. My gal is going to her first, but my gal thinks, her name is Kendra Hathaway, and she thinks she's going to Hawaii because that's what they were told initially. And so she asked for an entire week there, because if she's going to Hawaii on this job that she considers to be a total fluff job, she wants to stay for a few days. Now, speaking of fluff job, Kendra, bless her heart, she is a brand new, right out of college, gets this like dream job at this advertising agency. And of course, she's on the lowest level. She's got to prove herself. She's got to have time. She's not an intern because she is paid. So, I mean, she's a step up from an intern, but she's working with people on accounts. She doesn't have her own. She's just, you know, she's kind of going from position to position in the company, learning the ropes to figure out where her best fit is, all those things, right? And in a meeting about this, one of her coworkers, who is kind of almost a supervisor, he's more of a mentor than a supervisor, he recommends her for this position to be the judge, to go to these places and decide which one of these companies that are competing, which light display, that's all folks, which light display is best. She's going to think she's going to Hawaii. She's not going to go to Hawaii. She'll end up going from place to place to place, and we'll get to see the other books through her perspective just a tiny bit. Most of the book is about New Cheltenham and all that's going on in New Cheltenham, and it's going to be a great, fun story. I think in this one, first I was really going to focus on Mickey and Daniel from last year from Trees, and then I wanted to focus on the mother. And I decided, you know what? I think I want those to be New Cheltenham stories. I want them to be good stories, but I actually want them. I want a Murray family book about all the Murray familyness. I want more of the family. I don't want a slice of it in New Cheltenham Christmas. I want a full novel for them. So I've decided I'm not doing that. Instead, this year, I'm going to focus on Lauren from Ghost of New Cheltenham and all the other New Cheltenham books. She's been in them all. She's a love. She's just so much fun. But she's been ignoring the fact that one of the young men in town has been interested in her since she was young, and she's not quite so young anymore. We've had a lot of Christmases in there. So it's time for her to basically freak out. But also, because she's always been kind of a mystery loving, solving kind of person, she's going to be trying to figure out who is I don't want to say a sabotage because it's not, but there is somebody in New Cheltenham causing trouble for Kendra, and she's going to try to figure out who that is. So it'll fit her personality, and maybe, just maybe, she'll figure out that a guy who loves her for who she is and how she does things and for her quirks and all the things might not be someone you want to dismiss too easily. Just saying, especially when you really enjoy being around that person. Just throwing it out there. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this series is. That's all the things. And yeah, I would really, really, really appreciate prayers on two things. Number one, I have to finish Pointed Suspicion. I've got about a chapter and a half left. I would love to have that done before the 1st. I think it would be really nice to have the book completely finished, because the minute I finish it, I can actually put it up on pre-order, because I know that how long it will take me to get the edits done. So life will be grand, right? I'm really hoping for like a Labor Day, even though Tuesday is traditional. I'm thinking a Labor Day release would be really fun, and that's what I want. But I can't guarantee that if I don't get this done, right? So prayers to get that last chapter and a half done. Excellent. Especially I can do a lot of that in the car on the way down tomorrow. It's a 2.5 drive, at least a 2.5 hour drive to the airport. And then I have to sit in the airport from about 7:30 to 10:30, I think it is. So that's another 3 hours, I can do this, right? So that would be awesome if I could have that book written before I get to Krista's house. I would be so happy. On top of that, prayers that I actually can pull this off. If I can get, because August 1st, I may not get 4,500 words written. I might not. That's entirely possible. But I should be able to get at least 9,000 words done in 7+ hours if I did 20,000 in 3.5, right? So I should totally be able to make up the difference. So at night, after I leave Shalice's and the kids and I go back to my hotel room, I can totally do another 4,500 words, either by dictation or by typing away. Either way, doesn't matter. I should be able to do this. It is absolutely, I don't see why I can't, as long as I stay focused. And that's why I need prayers. I want all the help to stay focused. That's what I'm asking for. I'm just saying. Hope to see you guys soon. I have a book haul and a journal haul, and those will be coming any day now because I have other things that I want to do, and I'm going to be at Krista's, and we're going to be doing all kinds of book stuff, and I'm going to have all kinds of stuff, so I need to get those out. I'm not going to have a TBR for August, I'm just coming. I'm 10 days into it before I'm even in the room with the books. So that just seems like a bad idea. We'll deal with all that then. So I'm putting up information on pre-orders so that you will know, what it is. It's a 99-cent pre-order for the book right now. But when we hit 200 pre-orders, it will go, the price will go up exponentially. We really would prefer for people to read on Kindle Unlimited to save them money. But at 99 cents, we split 35 cents among 4 of us. That's what we get, is 35 cents of that 95 cents. Split among 4. Yeah, that's 8.5 cents a piece. It's not very much. So we really do prefer page reads. We get paid a lot better. So we have to charge more for the box set, but we want those initial pre-orders to get eyeballs on it. So I'm telling you now while you can get it cheap, because it's not going to be cheap for more than a day or two. I'm just saying. So have a great week. I will see you in a few days with another video. And yeah, read a book for me, because I'm not going to be able to read for a few days and I'm going to miss it. Have a good one. Oh, prayers for safe flight. I'll take that too.